like a Hellcat.
Before we get started, I have a favor. If you enjoy my content and want to see me continue to improve in both quality and size, please check out my Patreon linked in the description. Any amount helps and it is greatly appreciated. There are so many rewards for each level of donation, so go check it out. Now back to the video.
Hey all, this is Matt the EmeraldAvenger, and in today's video, a pretty decently sized balance patch hit the PTR, and I'm thinking this might be the beginning of the quicker balance patches that Jeff Kaplan spoke about in the forum post in the video that I posted earlier today. So let's get right into the changes. Hanzo is the first change. Storm arrow damage reduced from 70 to 60 per shot. So it does less damage, okay? To make him less of a dominant spammer. Just kind of taking more and more power away from Hanzo. Not like I was good with the storm arrow anyway, but that's not the part that matters. Next we get to McCree. This one's actually kind of surprising. He now has 250 health. What more can I say? He has 250 health. He's Reaper now. He's a long-range Reaper. Whoa. He's a long-range Reaper now. But to counteract this, Peacekeeper now shoots ever so slightly slower. This is me holding it down. This is what it feels like holding it down. Quite a bit slower. Don't know why I'm using this overly enthusiastic voice. I could not answer that question properly because I don't even know. But yeah, so they've lowered his rate of fire. They have lowered, or they have increased his base health to 250. And then the next change is with his Deadeye. Firing Deadeye no longer locks the player's aim. Oh, it doesn't slow down your aim. Okay. Okay. I don't know why it ever did in the first place. Yeah, that's a good change. That's a really good change. I'm happy with that. Alright, so McCree. He's now Fat McCree. Quite an interesting change. Speaking of Reaper, though, we get to Reaper. Reaper, his passive, the Reaping, now has, I need to take damage to kind of show this off, now has 30% lifesteal instead of the original 40%. Quite a sizable nerf to the Tank Buster. So, definitely not as much. On live, he would have fully healed after 2 shots. Not after the 4 that it took me. I mean, really low health. Let's see what it actually takes from me. I'm getting close to dying. So I'm still not even the full health after all that. Okay. So it takes 6 shots to get up from on those guys to get it from. Basically, he's nerfed. Basically, they're taking power from the powerful characters and putting it to less powerful characters. But spoiler alert: they didn't touch Mei because they don't want to admit that she's overpowered. Okay, Orisa, her change, Fusion Driver, one of her multiple changes. Fusion Driver now does 9 damage instead of 11. So on live, that would have taken like 2 or 3 shots less. Takes quite a bit less. Next is Fortify. Now has 10-second cooldown instead of 8-second cooldown. Basically just taking power from her buff because her buff, her little pseudo rework that she had recently made her a little too strong. And then Halt is the next change. Halt now has the snare duration reduced from 1 second to 0.65 seconds. So it's basically how long it holds them in place after pulling them initially. So if I can get one of them to come out. So that they can basically move pretty much immediately after being pulled in. So it pulls them in a little quicker, but also holds them in place for a little less time. Next, we get the Sigma. His hyperspheres have their range reduced from 22 to 20 meters. And I feel it. Pretty majorly, I felt it right there. Okay, so yeah, he just has less range. Make him to where he can't really brawl from as far away as he used to. Next is Gravitic Flux, which I'll have to wait until I get everything else up. But Accretion, the damage is reduced from 60 that it was to 40. So, well, that was a really, really, really bad shot there. Well, while I'm doing this, I can go ahead and try to get my ult up. It's taking a lot longer than I thought it would. Alright. Accretion does 60 damage instead of 40. Yeah, so it doesn't do as much damage to him, but I still killed him. Now let me attempt... Oh my god, I'm bad. Let me attempt to get Gravitic Flux. Come with me. So the change to Gravitic Flux is it can now be interrupted before they start falling. So like if he gets stuns or dies before he slams them to the ground, they will not slam to the ground. And the impact slow duration reduced from 0.9 to 0.6. So they are not slowed for as long after hitting the ground, or it's either after being picked up or after hitting the ground. They are slowed for less time. So overall, a pretty good change to him. And last but not least is Baptiste. Baptiste changes are his rate of fire is decreased for his Oh, that is noticeable. That is really noticeable. I was not expecting that. So it's increased from 0.36 to 0.45 seconds. So about a tenth of a second added to its rate. It also heals less. It now only heals 50 instead of 60. So yeah, they're nerfing Baptiste. I have a video upcoming soon on how I would actually suggest to change him to make him work better, to make his immortality field less oppressive, with it still being at its original cooldown and duration. But let's get into how this might actually impact the meta. So McCree being the biggest criticism is McCree has no survivability. His only movement and mobility is his combat roll, but that doesn't really second his survivability. His survivability is his ability to stun you, flashbang you, and then roll away. That was what his strengths were, and since he didn't really have anything outside of that, them taking him to 250 health, maybe that fixes it. Maybe that makes him more powerful. I really don't know. I don't play a lot of McCree, just because I'm not good at aiming. So if anyone actually plays McCree, tells me how they think this will affect how they play, yeah, just feel free to tell me, because I honestly don't have a clue. Haha, I got all 4 of you. So yeah, he has 250 health, same health that Reaper has, same health that Brig has, except Brig has armor. But still, this should make him ever so slightly more survivable. Back onto like Orisa and Sigma, their changes are basically just going to make them less brawly, less overall powerful. It will overall decrease their damage output, Sigma because of the range and Orisa because of the damage. Of course, also reduces Orisa's defensive uptime, since she takes longer to get Fortify back. She won't have the defensive capabilities for as long and as sustained. Hanzo, it's just taking power away from him, making him not oppressive and overpowered. Trying to take him out of being top meta. Same with Reaper, his lifesteal change. I mean, that's not too much. If you're a good Reaper, it won't affect you. If you're a mediocre Reaper like me, you're gonna kind of be kicked in the dirt a little bit. And then Baptiste, just lowering his power so he's less oppressive. I like I said, I have a video coming up on that soon. They'll explain my idea for fixing him. Most of y'all won't agree with it, but I'm hoping that you'll at least come check out the video. And I mean, besides that, there wasn't really a lot of changes. I mean, McCree was probably he had the most changes, I guess the most dramatic changes. Well, Orisa probably the most dramatic changes, but McCree, his change was not expected, but it's the kind of change that I have talked about. It is still technically a numerical change, but it is a utility change indirectly because it works kind of like an indirect passive in that he just has more health. And it giving someone more health or like giving Orisa more armor is not technically a numerical change. Numerical changes refer to like damage and cooldowns and ult charge, ult duration, while utility is like stuff that they are capable of doing with those new cooldowns or with their damage, or in McCree's case, with his health, with his survivability. So they'll making him more survivable is kind of the mechanical change that I talk about Overwatch needing more of if they want to properly balance. And that was a bad Deadeye. I'm happy with the change. I'm hoping that this is starting the balance changes that Jeff Kaplan talked about. That we're going to be slowly bringing life back into the game, making the patches a little quicker, making them more impactful. I'm hoping this is the start of it, because this is a really good start if this is the start of it. I am happy with this patch. I don't really have any problems with this patch. Maybe besides the fact that they maybe should... Well, I think they should revisit Baptiste. Hanzo I didn't see a problem with. I think they're just throwing him in the dirt. Same with Reaper. Because they aren't the problems. The problems are Mei, Orisa, and Sigma. They are the problems right now. Baptiste is a problem, but only because the other three are problems. All aside, what are you guys' thoughts on the patch? What are you guys' thoughts on the patch? As always, thank you all for watching. Please like, comment, and subscribe for more content. Follow me on all my socials. Keep it with me up channel. Go to my Discord, join the conversation. Go to my Patreon if you feel like supporting me. This is Untitled Avenger. Have a nice day. Stay safe. Peace out.